Okay, so this is day 6 of the February challenge. So Thursday the 8th of Feb. Let's see how I'm getting on. In terms of the pull-ups, without a question, no issues here. I'm achieving the daily target. So I've got 3,750 pull-ups remaining. Achieved so far 1,250. Rings dips wise, target's still the same, but I'm not achieving those ring dips on a daily basis. So I've got 4,120 rings dips remaining. I've achieved 880 versus 1,250 pull-ups. So right now, this is the bit that needs the most level of attention and focus for me. I've accepted the situation that I've not been achieving the target each session, and the reasons behind that make sense. I've always said at the point where I'm breaking form and I'm not performing that movement exactly in the precision way that I know how, then that's it. I stop training for that day. Okay, so what I did yesterday, if you remember, is I said, right, I'm going to set my reps, my set, the reps in my set as a maximum of 4 reps max, okay, as opposed to 5, and let's just see how we get on with that. Now, it didn't seem to make a huge difference, but it was only yesterday that I introduced that. So as you can see here, the figure 155 was less than the day before and the day before that. However, I'm still keen to see how that progresses and how that develops. It's really important that I want to maintain the timing in between the sets, so the 30-second timing in between the sets, and then when I get to a block, when I've completed 100 rings dips, that I rest for 60 seconds and then I repeat, so then it becomes 30 seconds in between the sets. So really sticking to the reps, sets, blocks and milestones process. And at the end of this video, you can see how today's session has been broken down. So I want to keep the timing the same, but I want to reduce the maximum number of reps in the set and stay with that 4. And you know what? See how it plays out. So I'm feeling very super, in fact, I'm feeling ecstatic, super positive, high frequency energy, lots of breathing meditation, fully hydrated. I'm in a deep fasted state now, so I've been fasting for 18 hours, there or thereabouts, and I'm about to embark on today's challenge. So let's dig in. I am on it. Don't look at me like that. I've got this. See you later, Chief. How are you? So, I'm ready for today's session, but I'm going to share some stuff with you while going through the pull-ups today. I feel like it's important to bring you on the journey with me. So I've been doing a lot of reflection, and yeah, I'm going to share some stuff with you. See you in a minute. So I want to talk to you about where my head's been at since this new challenge started in Feb, and where I am right now. So the reality of it for me has been that I have found it mentally challenging because I've not been crunching the numbers. I've not been hitting those daily targets. I know why that is. So logically, I know why that is. But I think what's happened is because I've literally not been performing and hitting that target on the rings dips on pretty much a daily basis, I think my ego's taken a hit, because the ego isn't one thing. Remember, the ego is it's oneself. The ego isn't just one thing. I think Freud broke it down into 3 parts. I think it was ID, ego and superego. So what I'm talking about now is the ability to have that self-awareness of oneself and know how you're feeling and all that sort of stuff. Be aware of my inner feelings as well as the external, and staying connected to that and sticking to my values, my principles for me as a person. So I think what happened is, when I did the challenge in January, of course, the 10,000 pull-ups challenge, I achieved that It was audacious. It was mentally and physically challenging, but I achieved it. And it feels good. And there's no denying that achieving something feels great, feels absolutely awesome. So when I'm not achieving something, of course it doesn't feel great. Of course it doesn't. So those thoughts kind of wash over me. And I know how to get out of that. I know how to get out of that. Moving into acceptance is the key, accepting the situation. And I'm only using this as an example to explain how I deal with challenging situations mentally. Yeah, I think accepting where I am right now and just going with that has helped me relax. It's helped me just accept what is. But it doesn't mean that's what will be. I think that's the key thing here, is past performance is not guaranteed future performance. I can learn from past performance, of course I can. I always analyse my data, but it doesn't guarantee the future for where I'm at. I think for me as a person, being very self-aware, I'd probably say we're on, what are we on, day 6 now? Last 5 days or so of this challenge, it's not been going how I wanted it to go. But then I drilled into, well, how did I want it to go? Obviously I'd say I want to do the 250 rings dips each time, but the reality of it is it's got to be a challenge. So I'd say the mental side of it, the mindset, is how I adjust to that. And last night was a big reflection piece for me, and just thinking how it has affected me as a person. And I think it did make me think of some negative thoughts. It did make me think of not achieving something. But I try and let that wash over me. But it is practice. It's daily practice. Things don't just happen and then they bounce off. I think that's the whole point about being a human being. When things don't go our way, when things don't go my way, it's how I respond to that. That's the most important thing for me. It's how I respond to it. And I think I've taken that reflection time to really dig deep and acknowledge that, yeah, I felt disappointed. I felt like possible seeds of doubt have crept in, like thinking, if I bit off more than I can chew, should I have set this challenge? Should I have done it public? How will I feel if I've got to tell you that I've not done it and it's a failure and all that sort of stuff? So I think all those kind of thoughts have been creeping in. And I want to share that with you because you know what? It's natural, it's part of who I am as a person. But it's how I come through that. So that's the bit where I focus on what has been achieved, how I've got there. I remind myself of the past, where I've been in the past. And I think about what's to be. So I kind of bring all those things together, and then I apply the logic element of it, of why things haven't gone how I wanted them to go. And then I remind myself, you know what? If everything went exactly how I wanted it to go, then wouldn't it be really boring? And the truth is, yeah, it would. It wouldn't mentally, physically stimulate me. I would be bored. But it doesn't stop those thoughts coming in. That's the point that I wanted to make. That's what I wanted to tell you. I've had conversations with people outside of this challenge, and I've talked to them about where my head's been at with certain things. And it's interesting, even though I've got some great techniques, some beautiful mindset techniques and processes and ways of thinking, which enabled me to turn up today, to continue with the challenge, to progress, to do the challenges that I've done so far. It doesn't mean that those thoughts won't creep in. And it's like I said before, it's just like the rain. like right now. Oh, I almost set the camera off there. Like right now in Manchester, it is raining. That's why we buy umbrellas, so we can shield ourselves from the rain, but we don't always know when the rain's going to come. So it's kind of like that with thoughts. Thoughts just come to do their thing, but I try not to create too big a narrative and delve into it and expand on that, start making up my own stories about, well, what happens if this doesn't happen? And what happens if that doesn't happen? I try not to attach myself to those thoughts. Sometimes it's not that easy though. Sometimes it's not that easy. And that's why it's called practice. That is why it's a daily practice. To use those things to remind myself that I am not those thoughts. Those thoughts aren't the situation. I accept the facts. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. So how I'm feeling right now, I feel very, very calm. I've done some self-reflection pieces, and what that involves is techniques such as sinking into gratitude, you know, being grateful for things in my life and reminding myself of what those things are. And when I sink into gratitude, that forms part of positive psychology. So it changes that mindset and it puts me on that frequency that is a beautiful frequency to be on. And then I can emanate that and I can be that person with other people. So I'm a better version of me for myself and for others. And that's important. And even though I'm starting today, I'm doing the pull-ups, I haven't started the rings dips yet. I don't know what the outcome is going to be for today. But you know something, I'm here. I'm showing up for me. I'm doing this for me. And yeah, I'm excited. Okay, let's go on with it. Okay, so right now, you probably want to know what's gone on with the rings dips today. Let me tell you, I've achieved the 250 rings dips. Okay, now I'm just going to damper down my excitement for a second, and I want to dig into why I think I'm at this point. So I'm going to share that with you. So you'll see all of the data at the end of this video, so you can see how I've achieved that, how I've broke it down rep by rep. Right, I feel very, very calm. It's a very nice, deep, meditative state to be in. I feel more like me. Very, very grounded. I feel very self-aware of me as a person. So, let me dig into some things with you. Okay, so today's day 6, and I've achieved the rings dips, the 250 rings dips. But how I got there was I changed one thing. I said, right, I want to focus on 4 reps max, and let's see how we get there. But at the point where I'm breaking form, I stop. It's over. That has been part of the process that I've changed, but I don't think it's the whole reason why I've got to where I've got to today. I think it's much deeper than that. I think what's been happening since this challenge started is I've been carrying around a certain amount of disappointment. So I'm going to use some labelled words now. Disappointment, possibly some anger there in terms of not achieving, possibly some fear, like what happens if I don't achieve this? You know, I've just started this challenge now. Why did I start this challenge? Am I setting myself up for failure? So almost doubting myself. So without using too many labelled words, you can see where this has been going. And I think what's happened is my thoughts have definitely altered my feelings And I think that's been conscious and subconscious through my sleep, through my waking life, during the day. And I think it's been manifesting, somewhere just at the back there. I've just been overthinking these things. And I've not taken that time out properly in the way that I know how to really just take that time for me and just acknowledge, listen, this is where I'm at right now. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts around this? But really spend that time with that. I've used different types of techniques to get through the day, of course, because I've got lots of different things going on. But actually taking that time out and owning that moment and saying, listen, come on, how are you honestly feeling right now? What are your thoughts? What's going on? And that's what I've done today. So that's part of my meditation practice today, has been literally listening to my internal dialogue, focusing on my breathing meditation and not trying to dismiss the internal dialogue of what's going on with me, seeing it, listening to it. It's like a big infinite whiteboard of different thoughts all scattered around. And I pulled out some of those thoughts and I thought, okay, why are you thinking this? So I've challenged myself. And the reason that I've done this is part of my daily practice. This is practice. It takes practice. It doesn't just happen. I don't just all of a sudden have a negative thought, think, it's gone, I've dealt with that. It's more complex than that. Controlling the thoughts is not the same as managing the thoughts. And controlling thoughts, quite honestly, I don't see that as a viable option right now for me as a human being. However, managing my thoughts, that's different. Yet again, I use the analogy of the rain. I don't see right now as human beings having that ability to be able to fully control the rain, to say, right, it's not going to rain in Manchester today. We're just going to control that rain and we're going to stop it raining. That's why we all have umbrellas. We have to prepare ourselves for it. So the preparation is the management, and it's the same thing with thoughts. So yeah, I think I have been having different conversations with different people, and they're saying, so how's the challenge going? And I'm like, well, you know what I'm like? I'm a detailed person. I like to give detail. I don't like to skirt around things. I like to give you all the information, okay? But possibly to my detriment in this case, because for the different engagements that I've had with different people at different times, different personalities, invariably I've been sort of saying, yeah, it started, but it's not going too well. I've not hit my target, so yeah, we'll see how we get on with it. So depending on who it is and how long I'm with them, that might be just that nugget of information that they take off with them for that day, like, doesn't seem like he's doing well with his challenge at the moment. That might be something that they might say to somebody. I have no idea. But the narrative that I've been creating has been one of, I think I even said, it's been a failure today. I've not hit that target. So I think the use of words that I've been using and how I've strung them together and the timing of those words have definitely altered my mindset. And I think that altered mindset, I think it's affected my performance. Because the truth is right now, I'm the same person. Yesterday, it was just yesterday that I achieved X number of ring steps. And when you look at it today, I've surpassed that. So what has happened, honestly, in the last 24 hours? Have I got better sleep? That'd be hard for me to judge. I felt like the sleep was good the night before, and it was good last night. So that's a hard one. I couldn't really compound and rationalise and measure and manage that per se. Could it be nutrition? Like I'm in a superbly deep fast now. Has that had an impact? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's had an impact. I don't think it's one thing necessarily. I think it's a combination of different things. However, there is one big thing that is staring me right in the face that I've done yesterday evening and today, and that is recognizing that I've just not been feeling myself in some way and trying to dig into what that feeling is. So recognize it and seeing it and calling it and taking that time aside and just sitting with those thoughts, focusing on my breathing meditation. So what I mean by that is no distractions. I've not got my headphones on with music on or anything like that. It's just me sat nice and relaxed, eyes closed, focusing on my breathing and just taking that time for me and just really digging into why am I feeling this way. Let's drill back onto it. And listen, I'll share more on this. It's a practice, it's a process that I go through, but essentially the big thing here is taking time out. Taking time out of everything that's been going on in my day, whatever that may be. So removing the laptop, removing the phone, removing interactions with different people, just being at one with myself, really connecting with me and just, saying, Phil, what's going on with you? Where are you at? How are you feeling about this challenge? So stop trying to say like it's not affecting you. It clearly is, because you're not achieving. How are you feeling about that? Sit with those feelings, own it, see what it looks like, and then don't linger on. Don't attach yourself to those things because they won't serve you, because this will pass. Of course it will pass. And it's calmed me. So I feel calmer, more focused, more relaxed, more like the Phil Jessé that I know, more like me. And I've performed so much better. Well, listen, you'll see the data, you'll see how it's broken down. The overarching point being is I've achieved 250 ring steps. How I got there, that's the journey. So I'm going to see how that unfolds tomorrow for Friday. But I'd say the thoughts, interacting with my feelings, possibly self-doubt creeping in, maybe even slight confidence being knocked, thinking, every time I'm engaging with the people I normally engage with, I'm not saying something that's great. And maybe that, because the ego isn't one thing, remember, it's a complex thing. Essentially, I'm delving into the realms of being self-aware here, but maybe there's a part of me that did think, yeah, I'm not coming in to the training facility and leaving here thinking, yeah, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, so I'm disappointed, or I'm this, or I'm that. And just sitting with those feelings, I think that has had a profound impact on my performance, and I think it's stunted my performance. I think it's hindered it. I genuinely do. So I've unblocked that now. I've achieved today. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All I know is the present moment. Well, it's right now, I'm talking to you, but the present moment earlier was in that moment when I was doing the ring steps. That's all that I have. That is the reality, the present moment. So I know a lot of these things, but that's why they call it practice. It's daily practice. Breathing meditation is daily practice. Doing hundreds and thousands of pull-ups and owning that one pull-up is daily practice. It's daily practice. As soon as I stop doing that thing, that practice is gone. I'm almost as good, potentially, as the last time that I did it. So if I stop doing pull-ups now for the next month and then start them up again, do I think that I'll be able to do 1,000 pull-ups in a session for that day? Well, I think it'd be a big challenge. I'd be able to draw upon reference and say at one point in my life I was the person that did the 1,000 pull-ups, but I think to just have a month off of doing no pull-ups whatsoever, then think I'm going to do 1,000 pull-ups in a session, I think it's a tall order. I think I'm setting myself up for a hurdle that I won't be able to jump over. The point being here is my values lie with practice. So practice doing that thing. What is it that you want to do? What is it that I want to do? I want to do the ring steps. Okay, I need to practice that movement, but I've got to be patient. Why? Well, I want to achieve a certain target.
And I'm not achieving it at the moment, but be patient. So keep practicing and be patient. But I've got to be persistent. So that's not giving up. That's continuing with that thing. But once I've applied the practice, the patience and the persistence, then I'm moving into the realms of consistency, because I've got that precision technique underway. I'm owning that rings dip, that gymnastic rings dip, so I can be consistent. I can keep going with it. Okay. Wow. Right. Listen, I'm going to go. It's a lot to unpack with you there, but I feel soothed. I feel very serene, very calm, very in tune with myself. I feel on a great frequency, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And on that note, I'm going to say, listen, whatever you're doing, wherever you are in the world, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. I mean that. I'll see you soon.